So, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to episode number 2 of the FIFA Ultimate Team series. And we're kicking off this episode with obviously a game in the online season or online tournament, whatever you guys want to call it. And this is going to be up against Last Football something, but they are against a Barcelona badge. So they've either got a good team or they've just gone for the badge. So obviously, hopefully we could get our first 3 points under our belt here. And if we could, we would be very, very pleased if we could get our first team. And they did have a pretty strong squad, 77 rated. The only good player they had was Vertonghen, was an absolute animal at the back. They did have Defoe, Dembaba and Buffon. They are the players that really I was going to have to look out for, especially Vertonghen in the air, because he is just an absolute animal, and Dembaba in the air is also an absolute animal. So if I want to win this game, I'm going to have to play pretty well in defence and to get past Vertonghen, which is going to be some challenge, I must admit, because Vertonghen is, I would say, one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. You guys might not agree, because I'm a Tottenham supporter, but anyway, that's just beside the point. But straight from kickoff, they go through, and they pretty much tore me to pieces in the first few minutes. Montiel picks up the ball, comes to Defoe. Defoe has a shot, and the keeper does make a pretty good save there, tipping it over the crossbar from the resulting corner. He does put a very good ball in the box, and Vertonghen gets on the end of it, and of course Vertonghen's going to find the back of net. So 2 minutes are gone, and our worst possible start as we end up going 1-0 down in the second minute. Things just could not get worse. It was very, very poor from me, and I was very disappointed that they scored so early on in the game, especially Vertonghen, as I knew he was going to be an aerial threat, and I just did not pick him up. And straight after that, we did go on the attack, but unfortunately, they caught us on the counter-attack. This time, Defoe runs down the wing, puts a good ball into the box. Dembaba gets his head on it, and they were now 2-0 up in 10 minutes. So it looked like we were going to get absolutely hammered in this game, but you know what we're like. We just keep fighting and fighting until the final whistle, and hopefully we will get something out of the game. And we do score an absolute beautiful goal here. The ball comes here, and we do actually play it was a good ball across, good ball to Negredo. Negredo tries a shot, and unfortunately it doesn't end up in the back of the net. But this time Defoe does pick up the ball, plays the ball to Sneijder. Sneijder plays a lovely ball over the top to Negredo. Negredo, first time touch, brilliant, just over the top of the goalkeeper. Absolutely phenomenal from Negredo, and thank you to Danny, who actually gave me Negredo, because that was an absolute amazing goal, and I could not believe it when that went in, because I thought, oh, what the hell is he doing trying to chip him from there? It's never going to work. But of course, if Negredo tries a chip, it is going to end up in the back of net. And here, it was actually Sneijder that come through this time. He does very well to actually come through. They're trying to play around with the ball. Sneijder does very well to block the shot of Buffon, and the ball does then eventually end up in the back of the net. So 68 minutes have gone, and we were now back on level terms. They were actually, to be honest, he was just trying to be a dick, passing the ball around in defence, etc, etc. So basically, he was being a complete dick. But thankfully, we ended up winning that game, drawing that game, 2-2. And because we drew that game 2-2, we were very, very pleased after going 2-0 down to actually come back. And especially because he was being a dick, trying to play around with the ball at the back, just doing the passing, keep ball thing, hoping that I'll just forfeit the match. I didn't. I kept going, and Buffon ended up making a mistake. And the next game we had here, we had to try and capitalise with their poor goalkeeper, 68 rated, but they do have Aaron Lennon, Juan Fran, who else have they got? And I can't think of any one of their names because I've gone mind blank at the moment. But we hopefully could win this game to get the first 3 points, because we still have not got the first 3 points, but hopefully we could here. And this time Gebert plays the ball to Asuakoto. Asuakoto plays a lovely ball over the top to Defoe. Defoe tries the half volley, and unfortunately it does end up wide of the post. I thought that was going to end up in the back of the net, but unfortunately Defoe does scuff it a little bit, and it doesn't end up in the back of the net. And straight from the kick-off, we do get the ball back for Asuakoto. He plays the ball to Sneijder. Sneijder this time does very well. Actually plays a lovely ball over the top. Defoe this time tries it, but he chips the ball too hard over the crossbar. So Defoe could be an absolute dickhead if we don't win this game, because he's had 2 great opportunities and missed both of them. But Marquinhos does come through, but a lovely save from our goalkeeper there to deny them. And thankfully, The ball didn't end up in the back of the net, and we were still 0-0 from the corner. The keeper does make a pretty comfortable save there to deny them. But here, Surikoto does do very well to actually regain the ball. He actually plays a lovely ball in the box, and the listless player on the pitch, Jermaine Defoe, gets his head on it from a long way out and ends up in the back of the net. So Defoe does redeem himself in the 35th minute with an absolute beautiful goal with his head. Surprisingly, I'm not very, very pleased that actually did end up in the back of the net, as Defoe was missing quite a few in this game, but he does do very well to come back, leave the defenders for dead, and actually get enough power on that to put it past the goalkeeper into the back of the net. But here we do play the ball out wide through Snyder. Snyder plays the ball to Defoe, and hopefully Defoe could get his second goal of the game, but unfortunately does go a little bit wide, plays a good ball into the box to Negredo, and he does find the back of the net in the 44th minute, just before half time, and a lovely goal from Negredo. Does very well to get up above their players to deny that from ending up in the back of the net. So very pleased there that ball did not end up in the back of the net, or ended up in the back of the net I should say, as we do go 2-0 up against this guy, and he does very sloppily lose the ball, plays the ball, and we actually play the ball to Snyder. Defoe gets the ball and puts us 3-0 up. So Defoe gets 2, Negredo gets 1, and we were now 3-0 up against this guy, and it looked like we were going to get our first 3 points so far of the season. So if we get our first 3 points, we would be very pleased, especially here. But Cisse, he just muscled his way through everyone here, just pretty much darting in and out of players, ends up shooting and finds the back of the net in the 78th minute, 30 something I was going to say, but they were now 3-1. So we had to actually keep going, because the last thing we want is for them to go and score another one, because if they scored another one, it would be the pressure on. But thankfully we did manage to hold on for the 3-1 and our first 3 points of the season. So extremely happy that we get our first 3 points, and that turns out to be us on... How many points are we on? We are on 4 points. So very pleased there after losing, drawing and winning. But thankfully a loss, draw and win. So hopefully we can have a loss, draw, win now. That's the record I'm going to be looking for in this next game. And let's see here, we do move on. But we do have an injured player, so we do have to change a player here, because he was injured. And let's see there, we do change him for, I do believe it was Curtis Davis, it might have been that I actually changed him for. Davis, that was it, the centre back. We actually changed him for the centre back, there we go, from Hull. So hopefully he could do the job at right back to replace our injured player. And we go into our last game here, up against someone which I don't know who they are, but actually here we'll just have a look at their squad, and hopefully they do have a pretty weak squad, so we can try and pick up another 3 points. Whether they got a weak squad or not, we're going to try our hardest to get the next 3 points. They do have 100 chemistry, they do have some pretty good players, but not one is in the 80s, so hopefully we could win this one. But here, it's a sloppy defender from there. We do very well with Negredo, actually, to depossess him here. Negredo plays a lovely ball through to Defoe. Defoe does very well and slots that one into the back of the net with his left foot in the 7th minute, which we are extremely happy that Defoe has managed to find the back of the net, and that turns out to be the first goal in this game. 7 minutes had gone, and hopefully Defoe and Negredo can get a few more, just to put a little bit of light between the two clubs, as I never like being 1-0 up, especially online. But here Defoe does extremely well to actually play the ball, or actually lose the ball in fact. They play the ball over the top to Santa Cruz, and Santa Cruz does an amazing shot, but a very good save from our goalkeeper there to deny them from getting back on level terms. But thankfully they didn't score, because as Defoe would have been in the doghouse tonight, but thankfully they didn't. The goalkeeper makes a very good save there to deny them from the resulting corner. We do then actually manage to get this one clear, thankfully, otherwise it would have ended up in the back of the net. But actually here, they do try the quick corner, and they've tried something stupid, but thankfully we did manage to get clear. But here they play the ball out wide, and he's not going to be missing from there with Fernandez, and Fernandez slots it into the back of the net in the 21st minute for the Tranmere Rovers side, or Badge side, whatever you want to call them. So hopefully we had to now apply the pressure if we wanted to get anything out of this game. And if we wanted anything out of this game, we were going to have to play pretty well. But here, they do go on the attack, but thankfully Surikoto does cut this one out, tries to play the good ball through to Snyder. Snyder does amazingly well to get there. Comes to Negredo, a wonderful save from the goalkeeper, and unfortunately they manage to get the ball clear. But this time, Gebert does amazingly well, plays the ball through to Negredo. Negredo should score, but he plays the ball through to Snyder, and Snyder scores there in the 42nd minute. And thankfully, that ended up in the back of the net. So it was just perfect, just before half-time, scoring a perfect goal, and it turns out that we should be able to hold on to this, but you never know what happens online, as you guys know if you play FIFA 14 online. But it's 2-1 up, and we do have a last chance here with Snyder. Snyder plays a good ball through to Defoe. Defoe over the top to Negredo. Negredo on his left foot is going to absolutely hammer that one into the back of the net in the 63rd minute, and scores what I believe is Negredo's first goal of the game, actually, and ends up putting us 3-1 up against this club here. I can tell you now they do come and score, which makes it 3-2. So that is what makes it nervous. As you can see now, they do. Whoa, let's see here. They just turn me inside out and find the back of the net. So basically, I can hold on to the scoreline, and actually there we do. So thankfully, we do then get another 3 points, which takes us up to 7 points. So hopefully that is it for this episode. We do end up ending this episode as signing a player, and that player is goes by the name of Sydney Sam. So Sydney Sam is a new player that we have signed for our club, as you can see here. Thankfully, Sydney Sam is actually a very good player. So thankfully, like I've said thankfully about 5 times now, but thankfully 6 times, he is actually a very good player, and hopefully he can do well getting into our squad here. So if he can get into our squad, we would be extremely pleased. So actually here, we do get him, we place him into our squad, and that is going to be it for this episode. Sydney Sam, we end up buying him for 600, which is very, very good price, to be honest. So 78 rated Bundesliga player. So that is it. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Don't forget to leave a like. Thank you. Bye bye.